Alright, we got a couple guys working on the other side here, so just bear with the background noise. We're gonna do a quick walk around, just kind of check some things. Overall, pretty good. I did note they were missing the cover here for the hitch. Paint's in pretty good shape. I didn't see any body work or any signs of touch-up. On the door itself, right here, has like a little bit of like a weird crease in the paint. It kind of catches your eye weird. I don't know if the camera will catch it. There we go. See how the machinery is all swirled? That's what I'm talking about. Could be from a door ding. It's hard to tell. Wheels, aftermarket, some scuffs, no cap on there. And then we do notice some pretty good edge wear on the tire as well. With this focus, there we go. Tires, the best I got was a 5, lowest out of 4. Edges are pretty worn on each tire. So yeah, inside's not bad, outside bad. Inside bad, outside not bad. So something I noticed there. And then right here, there's these two kind of like dimples. It's probably from that seatbelt. That would be what I would think. Okay. On the back, everything does what it should. Nothing really major here, except for that cover. And then up on the top, there are some scratches along those rails. Nothing really on the paint side. And then a pretty good ding here. I think most of those could be pulled to PDR. Overall, paint has pretty good swirls, like brush strokes. So it could use a really good buff and cut. And then missing this cap. And then front bumper here in pretty good shape. Just a few chips in the PPE. But paint and everything looks pretty good. As far as your lights, this one has a running light that's not working, a high beam that's not working. On those, I believe it's just all one unit. You can't really service LEDs on these. So definitely check into that. We'll stop here. So engine video, it's gonna be short and sweet. Not terrible, pretty clean engine bay. Just had a couple things that caught my eye, like oil level's good. Your transmission fluid needs to be checked like from the bottom side, like a service type thing. It's I believe bolted into the side. Airbox is also bolted in. It has these brackets that are in the way, so we don't really pull that apart to check that. Coolant, everything's good. Battery, newer. Can't really see a date or anything, but newer. Brake fluid is a little bit low, but like I was saying, the rear pads are probably about 50%-ish, maybe even a little more. So just keep an eye on that. Now, a couple things. See if I can get my light out again. The indoor inspections are hard because the natural light really helps see things on vehicles outside. Okay, so it's hard for me to do both, but down here, your cooler lines, really common on GMs. Got some seeping going on. And then also right here on your heater core hose, only one clamp's been replaced. I'm not sure what happened there. Just caught my eye. It just seemed a little weird that one clamp is a bit like one's factory with the mark and one's been replaced and has some debris. So something to note there. Overall, pretty clean. See if I can get a better view on that cooler line. Yeah, it's a little dark. That dark line, you can kind of see that fitting there, a little dark. That's just dirt and stuff sticking to the seat. Alright. So we'll stop here. Pretty good engine bay. We're gonna put the camera down and just do a quick startup. Fires right up. Sounds overall pretty good. Really light stumble in this thing. I did make note of that. It's a little more severe in the gear. And then that kind of warm sound. It's just kind of what the newer engines do with the way the cooling system's driven and stuff. I don't know. For me, it doesn't sound like they used to. But nothing here that worries me. We'll keep moving through our inspection. Checks out good. Alright, so we are indoors. It might be a little darker than it normally is. I always start front to back. This just lets me see if anything's hanging down, sagging on the vehicle, dragging. Also, I have the doors open, so yes, the steps are folded down right now. Seat plate's intact, doesn't look like it's been bashed in or anything like that. No wet or anything like that. Chin has a couple of scrapes on this lower portion, but nothing severe. And then come over to this corner here and just talk about a couple things. Alright, so we're using the reflection of the mirror here. You can see the wetness on the shock there, or the spring, I'm sorry. That's just seeping of the fluid in the shock tower or the reservoir. Over time, you'll just mess with your pressures, and it kind of aids to the bumpy ride that we were feeling, as well as lack of performance, right? So could cause a little bit premature wear on suspension components, tires, and just overall ride quality. Alright, so we're at the driver front corner where the body mounts to the frame. Looks really good. Frame's in good shape. The wax is still on it at least. Rockers all look pretty good. Doesn't look like the steps are hiding anything. So that looks good. Pan on the trans looks nice and dry. Your exhaust, they make them flat like that for clearance, so it's not like it's been beat up. That's just how it is. Stop here, go to the other corner. Alright, again, we are inside, so it's a little darker than we normally deal with. I'm just trying to use this light to reflect off my mirror. Trailing arms, everything look pretty good. Frame looks good, body out there, rocker. Looks really good. Fuel tank does have a skid plate, which I thought was interesting. In town, you're doing much off the street with this. So this does have the frame mounted hitch with the wires. There was no cover here. This is where it normally like clips in or bolts in and then clips in up here. So I might ask about that. And your spare is missing. So ask about that. Floor pan though, you can really see really well. Looks good. Looks great. Rear diff. It's kind of a funny deal. They got like a pan handlebar and air ride and all this fancy stuff on the Escalades for a smooth ride. So I'll stop over on one corner and show you something. Okay, I'm gonna use my light here. So another really common thing here is the fluid seep on these air rides. Over time, the seal just kind of gets torn up a bit. It's pretty common on these, unfortunately. Done them a few times on this Escalade we have. Alright, so rocker on the rear passenger side. Again, just kind of fighting the darkness and the reflection here. Frame, everything looks pretty good. Sorry about that. We're gonna go up to this corner and look back. Passenger side, front corner. Frame mount and everything. You can see your pan again. You can see it here. It's really dark. This one also is seeping pretty bad. So suspension definitely needs to be done all the way around. I did talk about like tire wear is pretty bad on the edges. That could be contributing to that, just the way the tires roll down the road. Alright, interior on stuff like this, you gotta be quick about it because there's so much to go through and we only do like 5-minute chunks, right? Steering wheel controls, heated seat, phone controls, and cruise control all work correctly. Horn works as well, and then this is how you change your stations, sources, select on the menu, like so, and volume. Nothing on the back of the wheel. It does have a HUD display. Not sure if you're able to see it with the light directly from the door, but it works, and it has a few different menus. Up here, mileage at the time of the drive, we're at 94,244. So a couple bigger maintenance items, plugs, transmission, and then transfer case, get that checked at that mileage. Tire pressure light stayed on for the majority. These tires do not have sensors in them. Everything stayed pretty good, and all of the assists work really well. One thing we did not test because of just risk is the parallel park. Everything else on here does exactly what you say, except for the pedals. Okay, maybe it's because I had it in gear. They didn't work earlier, they're working now. So that's good. Nav and everything tracks correctly. Climate control works, all the modes go through. Heated back, butt, and seat. Also air conditioned. All of these do what you ask them to do. Nice deep console. I did make note though, we didn't have any of the stuff for the DVDs. The backup kind of does like a Hawkeye. Doors are open so you don't have the sides right now, but it does like a 360 view, and then it has a vibration as well as chime for your radar. And back here, heated seats also work really well, and then climate. One thing I did know is that the climate, when you have the AC on and the front off with the vehicle running, it doesn't blow very cold. Could be a sign of a low charge. Keep that in mind. And then all of the DVD stuff is here, but there's no remote or headphones anywhere in the vehicle. Alright, looking from the outside in, door cards are in pretty good shape. We got some scuffs here. Real light, nothing like thick on the nail. Seats are in pretty good shape. Normally Chevys have a good tear here, so just some wear starting, pretty normal. And then carpets, they, like I said, have had these all-weather mats the whole time, so it checks out pretty good. All seat controls work as well as memory. Now into the back here, a couple of things that I did find. This seat belts on both sides on this pillar, they don't retract very well, and it's caused them to fall into this jam, which has caused a little bit of damage. Another thing here is the seam on the bottom of the pockets pulled here. We'll hop over side. So door card again in pretty good shape here. And then seats, pretty good. This one I did point out that the seat arm is kind of bent. It's probably from someone leaning on it and doesn't really fold up unless you like pull it away and push pretty hard. And then leather's pulled on the seam here for the vents. And then again, seat belt kind of sagging. And then on this door here, pretty good overall. Seats in good shape, same with the carpet. And then you do have an electronically controlled glove box release, works as intended. So let's see here. Yeah, and so you do have a wheel lock, but no DVD stuff. We'll stop here. All right, so rear lift gate, trunk, cargo, however you like to call it. Overall, this does have like the all-weather mats in it, which is really nice. Under here, the strut is still here to help you lift all that. And you've got your dividers in there as well, some jack stuff. It's like the rod to like get to the tire underneath. Your jack to lift the cars in this panel. And then that all does exactly what it's intended to do, obviously. Seal and everything looks really good. I don't see any kind of issues with the strut system on here or the hinges. Plastics are in really good shape. Doesn't look like it was really abused. There's just some scuffs here on the back portion, but overall pretty good plastics. It does have buttons back here. These are used for these seats. You gotta hold it, right? If you let off, they stop. You gotta hold it. Alright. Once they come fully back, give it a couple seconds and make sure you hear that final whine. That's kind of the seat locking into position. I did say power liftgate. Does have an adjustment in there as well for anyone that's shorter and has a hard time reaching that button. So you can like change how high it actually opens up to. Backup camera does also have like a 360 view type thing going on, because this will self-park itself with the radar, and it all looks pretty good. Alright, we're gonna go through our code scan here. So we do have a lot of modules with stored and history codes here. Essentially going through them all, they're all low voltage or lost communication codes. So either this has had a battery replaced recently, it does look fairly new, or it had to be jumped from sitting on lot. Those are my only two thoughts. This one here with 27 is because of all the tech in here, plus the tire pressure sensors. There's no monitors in these tires that are on the vehicle, So it says like all these low voltage, short to ground. Basically, it almost seems like they tried to start it and it was dead, and then they just left the key in on and then put the jump box on and started it, because it just stored everything that was low here. Nothing here that causes me to have any concern. All being history. Last test passed. That's what you're looking at, right? So that's what we want to see. If there's ever a failed, see, we got these, where are we? Tire pressures, right? Failed current DTC, right? Failed current DTC. So just something to keep in mind there. Pausing here, we're going to go off to our monitors. So while I'm pulling up the monitors, I always go since someone was last in the computer, not my drive that I was given. Evap. Now, one thing I'll say about that is when I got here, the vehicle was very low on gas, and we did just put fuel in it. And then I did a short trip to just kind of test things out. So that'd be my only reason there. We didn't have any codes or any kind of emissions related codes, so I don't see any kind of issues for me. Nothing there that causes concern. No egg smells, no lack of power, no hard pulls or anything like that, like where you just feel like the engine's working very hard but not getting very far. Last thing I always check here, we always want to make sure like VIN matches what's on the car in the computer as well. Very important. Alright, so this is going to be our live data. So DTC's here, nothing. Everything looks really good. Sitting here at idle. So just kind of going through data, just to let you look at it all. Not seeing anything weird, any kind of pings, any kind of fluctuations that are dramatic. The evap is monitoring because that was a lot lower when we first started it. So we had that red X, but it is doing its thing. Throttle, responsive. Alright, yeah, checks out really good. We're gonna stop right here for this portion. Alright, conclusions on the 2018 Cadillac Escalade. So this is gonna be the long one. Has 3 rows, all black and everything. Really good drive. I did have some complaints about the drive. So a couple things. On the lights, we have a high beam out on this side, so the whole beam is just not working. And then we do have quite a bit of vibration. Could do with the aftermarket wheels, which also don't have tire pressure sensors. And then the shocks and struts have pretty good leaks all the way around. But everything does what it's supposed to do button wise. We did have a lot of codes for low voltage. Driveability, we have a stumble at idle at stop, and that kind of translates into a small shudder at low speeds as it shifts through the gears, even though you're staying lower RPM. We did say the vibration from the suspension. Tires, 5 was the best, 4 was the lowest. There are some dings along the doors. The rear seat, middle row, seatbelts don't retract very well. So we want to make sure that gets addressed. Sometimes cleaning helps, but over time those springs kind of stop doing what they're supposed to if they're just left out. Some damage on the other side from that. And then let's see, we're missing our hitch cover here. Not super major, just kind of tacky looking in my opinion. A little more dents and stuff on this side from that seatbelt scenario. And then as far as your roof, it's in really good shape, but this rail here has some scrapes on it. Typically they don't really use them as actual cargo rails, so it's more like a chrome decor, especially with glass tops. Not many manufacturers will give you stuff with a glass top to put stuff up there. Truck could use a really good buff and cut from Swirls. It really livened this paint up. There's a lot of swirls in it. A lot of swirls. So, suspension. Stumble at idle. I'm gonna believe you're 94,000, so the plugs are probably ready to do at 100K. That's when they're due. That could be a lot of that. And that could play into a little bit of the shudder with the transmission. And then wheels and tires, get those sorted, and it should be pretty good. We'll stop here. Everything checks out.